Hello and welcome to the album man. So AC/DC, yeah, we've been talking about them a lot recently, and I think discography's got off to quite a good start this week. Okay, I haven't quite achieved the one per day goal, but for me, who is notoriously slow at putting up album reviews, I think 4 AC/DC reviews in 1 week is pretty good. I'll definitely take that. So let's continue. And let's look at Powerage. Released in 1978, this is the first to feature Cliff Williams on bass, though, well, reading about it, apparently that does actually seem to be a bit contested, with Mark Evans claiming that the old bassist, claiming that he played much of the bass on it. And I've also heard that actually the producer George Young, obviously a brother of the Young Brothers, played bass on it as well. But at the end of the day, who actually cares, as AC/DC honestly have some of the easiest, most boring bass parts I've ever heard in my life. They just, I don't know how Cliff Williams can honestly cope with being the bassist of AC/DC. It seems a fairly mundane job to me. But this album certainly is not boring though. Here they really reach another peak. They produce an album at long last which doesn't have any complete clunkers on it. Well, it's not my favourite Bon album or AC/DC album. It's definitely very high up there. I'd honestly say it's probably my 3rd, maybe 4th favourite AC/DC album. Definitely one of their absolute best. It's an extremely consistent and solid release, and many actually consider this their finest hour. I know that Malcolm Young considers this his best work, and there's many fans who feel the same way. And I see a lot of people give this album perfect 10s often. I feel it's a tad bit overrated by fans, as I definitely think there's a couple of albums better, which we'll get to soon, but this is definitely one of their masterpieces. Oh, and like last time, a little word on which version of the album I'll be reviewing, because all the absolute BS surrounding the various releases of AC/DC albums and track listings around this period, I will be reviewing the standard version, which does not contain Cold Hearted Man, which is the 9 tracks I'm familiar with. Apparently in the UK, it was actually, Powerage was released as a 10-track album with Cold Hearted Man, and I did say I'll be reviewing all the original UK releases, but for this I've decided I'm not going to, because I'm so familiar with the 9-track album, I just wanted to go for that one. That's the version on CD I'm used to, etc. The one most people know. So let's, as usual, let's start with the positives here. So we've got to talk about the song everyone talks about from this album. It's obvious, Riff Raff. I mean, this is a fan favourite. This is Slash's favourite AC/DC song, fun fact, and for good damn reason, because it is a monster of a song. I mean, it has the name Riff in the name. You know there's going to be some great riffs involved, and they really do not disappoint with an abundance of classic AC/DC riffage. Definitely great, reminiscent of, you know, songs like Whole Lot of Rosie or High Voltage. Combine that sort of classic sound, but also adding that earlier AC/DC bluesier, boogier flair, while still keeping it hard, heavy and raw. I mean, the Young Brothers really dominate here, and it is just a stone cold classic, no other way of putting it. And the album opener is certainly just a great way to open the album. Well, you know, it does nothing new for the band. It just does what they do spectacularly, building to this just amazingly catchy chorus of backing vocals from the band, really accentuating it, and it's definitely a melody you're not going to forget in a jiffy, explosive and as memorable as any classic from the band. Like another track, Gone Shooting. This is definitely one of those, again, that I really enjoy. It takes stuff down a notch, more into the realm of blues, but without being overly reliant on, like, 12-bar blues, like their previous attempts at sort of slower, bluesier songs, and also without being, well, dull. Here they managed to succeed here, partly due to the exceptional lead guitar work, but I also really like the sort of the general jam and really open feel in the production of this song. It definitely has a very live vibe about it. It almost could have come off if you want Blood. It definitely has that type of feel about it, especially towards the end, and also great, of course, as well. They're saying there are a couple of slightly, only slightly weaker tracks, like What's Next to the Moon, which most people tend to agree is the weakest track on the album. It's not very interesting. Quite an underwhelming solo on that one, and solid but unremarkable riff. It's just like generic AC/DC. It's okay, but not that special. One song that I do find a bit odd, which I hadn't really noticed before listening to this album review. I don't know why I hadn't noticed it before. But Gimme a Bullet. This definitely reminded me of something heavily. And I never quite been able to put my finger on it, but finally I've been able to. And it reminds me so much of another AC/DC song that I was worried I was accidentally listening to it. It's very similar riff-wise to Highway to Hell, which is my favourite Bon Scott song, as cliche as it is, and you're going to hate on me for that, but Highway to Hell is just such a good song, it really is. And I never really noticed this before, but it definitely sounds like it uses the same chords in that main riff, and, well, same progression, just a slightly, maybe slower tempo rhythm. And even though this was first released, it's one of those weird things where, because I'm so familiar with Highway to Hell, I actually found this song less enjoyable as a result, instead of finding Highway to Hell less enjoyable as a result of this song. And also the fact that this is a fairly standard 4/4 verse chorus type thing. And the weirdest, it doesn't have a guitar solo, which for an AC/DC song is a little peculiar. AC/DC songs usually need a guitar solo in some respect, or at least some form of instrumental bridge, and this doesn't really have that, so that's a little odd. I do know that there's some people out there who aren't too keen on Kicked in the Teeth, which is the close of the album. I really enjoy this though. I love the old school bluesy and quite Zeppelin-esque thing of you have like Bon screaming out a line of vocals and no backing, and then the riff comes in for a bar, and then the instruments go out, Bon sings. It's like that type of Whole Lotta Love, I suppose the best way to describe it. And I like that technique. It adds a bit of variety to the album, a little bit of spice. Before we get to the meat and potatoes of the song, which was a very satisfying chorus. And it's just an awesome, aggressive closer to the record. But something I forgot last time to do, which I'm going to do this time, is I forgot to talk about my favourite lyric from the Let There Be Rock. So we'll talk about my favourite lyric from Powerage. And it comes from the track Down Payment Blues. And it's a bit longer than the other ones we've featured, but just what a weird lyric this is. Sitting on my sailboat, sipping on my champagne, Susie baby all at sea, say she wanna come again, feeling like a paper cup, floating down a storm drain, got myself a sailing boat, but I can't afford a drop of rain. Wow, beautiful. All in all, really enjoyed this album, end to end, thoroughly, definitely consider a must own of AC/DC's career, and truly a highlight of their career. One of the things I definitely like about this, which I know some people may not as much, but I like the lack of cheesy Bon humour. I've never been a fan of Bon humour, as you probably noticed from my criticisms of things like Rhapsody in Blue and The Jack and the sillier Bon song. I mean, AC/DC is another serious band, and I'm not saying that the lyrics here, as I read to you there, the most serious in the world, but I often found some of Bon's humour a little bit too crass at times. There's a certain level of AC/DC humour which they definitely perfect with one of their later albums. But here, tight musicianship, memorable riffs, catchy choruses. What more could you want? It's the most consistent up to this point. It's an 8.5 out of 10. But there's still better albums to go, just like the next one. This has been TheAIbumMan. Thanks for watching, comment, subscribe, and long live rock and roll.